There's some concern that direct democracy removes the need for political parties and weakens democracy. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the country in the world that has the most direct democracy is Switzerland, and it certainly hasn't removed the need for political parties there, nor has it weakened their nation or their democracy. It brings a balance to political parties. It allows them to engage in the process when they wish to, and also the average citizen to have their say or their views heard properly in the democratic process.
Well, I think actually there was an opinion poll in New Zealand that suggested that people's distrust in politics went down after the introduction of the Citizens' Initiative. Now, mechanisms, even if they're quite weak, sometimes have the effect of actually strengthening democracy. And referendums and initiatives is not an alternative to democracy. Even in Switzerland and California, which are massive users of the referendum, it's well over 90% of all legislation is passed by Parliament. And people are not involved in politics all the time. But it's a brake on change, you should say, a sort of a last resort if you don't like what the government is doing, that you can resort to that. So it's a way of making sure that the party system of government actually works. There's a Swedish study that shows that voters agree with approximately 80% of what the parties they vote for stand for, but the remaining 20% they disagree with, and this allows them to disagree with 20% and agree with 80%. So it's a political mechanism for having your cake and eating it, and in many ways it actually would strengthen party democracy or representative democracy if you have referendums, because you make sure that the political parties are in sync with the people.
Well, the first observation, certainly for British democracy, is that referendums have actually saved parliamentary and party democracy. Where the parties have been split on an issue, a referendum has allowed them to solve that particular problem. Western democracies are facing some sort of crisis of engagement, really quite a long-standing crisis, that we had 100 years in trying to get the full universal mandate. We have now begun to look at the quality of our democracy, and it seems to me that far from weakening our democracy, incorporating an element of direct democracy in the party structures would, not so much the party structures in our representative democracy, would bring back voters to a process that they have really begun to desert significantly.